Okay, I am here with, I don't know how to describe this gentleman. I mean, eclectic, intelligent, charismatic. I mean, we could probably go through the whole alphabet, and apart from X, voluptuous. No, that wouldn't be right. But we would have something for every.
There's X will cover it.
X will cover it. You know what I mean? Exciting. We would literally have a compliment for every single letter of the alphabet. The wonderful, always a gentleman, Mr. Steve Vai. My first question to you, and I've been thinking about this quite a lot. We all know about the state of the music business right now in terms of selling product, records, you know, music and what have you. You were one of the first people that actually kind of took care of your own business, where everybody was looking for a record deal. I think you even made an EP before you did Flexible.
No, I did Flexible first.
That was first?
Yeah.
I remember, and I think you took that
and then I had leftover material after
right.
that. And EPs were, 10-inch EPs were going away.
Ah, okay.
And I wanted to have one before they were extinct, just so that, you know, I thought maybe if anything ever happened someday, they might be interesting collector's items.
Right, right.
I never thought I'd see them going for $1,000.
Yeah.
You know, but
yeah.
now they are.
and I wonder if you're ever going to re-release Flexible on vinyl, since there is a little resurgence of
well, you know, yeah, there is a
vinyl.
wonderful resurgence of vinyl, and I haven't thought about that for Flexible, but we're going to be releasing 25th anniversary Passion and Warfare, and that'll have a vinyl component.
But for somebody who was really kind of on the cutting edge of that whole thing of a musician being their own kind of business, independent, now that we've come to a position where everybody's trying to think of new ideas on how to generate revenue outside of music, how far do you think that has gone, and would you think there is a line there? For example, you're not promoting a record on this tour, and I think this is probably one of the first times that I've known that's happened with you. You're always promoting a record. What do you feel that for an artist like you who puts out a lot of stuff and, you know, fantastic stuff, does it make you despondent to make more music, or does it? What's your feelings on that?
Well, there's various levels, but at the core, creative people have no choice but to create things that, you know, they're inspirations that are exciting. So, and that's always been the case for me. When I was younger and we were talking about Flexible, I had no expectations of it being successful. I had no expectations of myself being successful or you know, known or anything like that. I just had an impulse to make a particular type of music that was exciting to me. And then I just, when it came time to take care of business, I just never depended on anybody. I would only want to work with people that were interested in what I was doing. And you can figure out anything if you have to first know you can. And the infrastructure of the music business back then was the similarities to it today, but it was pretty different in some ways. And I just did some research and connected the dots and made it work for myself as a total independent. Right. At the age of 23 or 22.
Yeah.
You know, and that was, when I look back, it's like, man, I had some courage to do a lot of the stuff I did. But there was nothing at stake. I didn't feel like my career depended on this. Right. It was just like, I love making this weird music. I'm just going to keep doing it. And that was just the impetus for it, and that has never changed. Right. Today, when I go and I make music, it's like, what would I like to do that would entertain me, and what is really important to me? Because you're the first, and this is just my thoughts on it. You know, you're the first person you need to please. Yeah. And if you can deeply please yourself with your creative work, then that your thrill, your enthusiasm flows into the work, and then the appropriate audience for you will be attracted to it. Yeah. But if you're trying to, if you're trying to placate an audience that's not sincere to your own aspirations, you're going to short circuit yourself, because eventually you're going to be miserable because you're not. People need to be creatively expressive on a fulfilling level, or they're going to suffer. It's the way it is, and you know that because you can feel that in your own self. You could use yourself as the example.
Yeah.
So, and when you go and take yourself out of your own creative comfort zone, first of all, most of the time, your product is going to be inferior because you're competing with people who are doing things within their comfort zone in the field that you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And by the time you've caught up, the trend is...
By the time you caught it,
gone anyway.
If you're really passionate about something, you're on the cutting edge at all times and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
You're not trying to be on the cutting edge, you just are.
Yeah.
And then if you go against your inner muse, so to speak, you know there'll be a short circuit eventually because you'll look around and you'll go, well, I spent my whole life or up to this point doing things that weren't fulfilling. I'm a billionaire,
right? Yeah,
but I'm
unhappy.
People believe, and I know this is outlandish, and they still it sounds extraordinary, but that doesn't do it. You know, money can, you know, having, and I'm not a billionaire, obviously, you know, but it's very nice on one level, but it exaggerates your foibles.
Right.
You know, if you're in a position, if you're in a business and you're fighting to make it real, you know, and it's not really what you want to do, but you're being successful at it, fame and money has a tendency to exaggerate your personality. So if you're a miserable son of a bitch and you become wealthy, you're going to be a mean, miserable son of a bitch.
Right.
And if you're a jerk, you're going to become a really big prick.
Right.
But if you're very generous and, you know, and if you're kind of like just content in what you're doing and you're kind of like a, you know, an easy guy, then a lot of money can exaggerate that too. Become really easy, very generous, you know. But that doesn't do it because a person needs to feel fulfilled on a creative level. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Or else it'll catch up with you.
These days, it's pretty obvious if you listen to any of your recordings that there's a lot of work goes into it. You don't walk in and come out with that record 2 days later. That just doesn't happen.
Especially this record I just finished. Oh, God.
Oh, really? Oh, I'd love to talk about that because I haven't had any kind of press kit as regard to any new release. I know you're not promoting. I don't believe you're promoting that on this tour.
Not right now. We're going to make an announcement very shortly, but I'm releasing a 25th anniversary release of Passion and Warfare.
Oh, wow.
It'll be more like 26 years.
Right.
And what I did was, you're familiar with Flexible?
Oh, absolutely.
And Passion and Warfare?
Yeah, totally.
Well, when you listen to those two records, it sounds like two different guys made them.
To me, it was, you know, Flexible sounded like a real kind of, you know, I don't want to say rough and ready, but more punchy, you know.
Oh, I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, I was naive, very innocent.
But it came a kind of,
there was a quality to it. Yeah.
Freshness.
There was a freshness. There was kind of a freshness because there was the enthusiasm to do it. How could anybody make that music unless they were enthusiastic about it? Because it's pretty peculiar.
And there was even times where you could hear you stepping on things and stuff like that. And, but that was great.
Yeah.
You know,
and the equipment I had and all this, but
Passion and Warfare was a lot more refined.
Much more mature, refined. But there's like a missing link. And this record that I'm releasing is the missing link between Flexible and Passion and Warfare.
Right.
Because during that period, I recorded a lot and I had bands and I wrote a lot of music. So this music is about 6 or 7 tracks were recorded during that period, over 30 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And then I worked on them now. And then some stuff was written back then that I performed with a band back then, but I re-recorded now because I never recorded it. And the name of the record is Modern Primitive, and it's just so, wow, it's so beautiful to me.
Wow.
It's just so, it is that missing link. It's got the Flexible element. You can see how I was on my way to the Passion and Warfare stuff, very Zappa-esque in a sense, but not Zappa-esque like Flexible was.
Right.
Because I was working with Frank and Enamored and, you know, with all this stuff. So I'm really excited about that, and that's coming out in June.
Do you ever, it always wonders to me, like I always thought in those kind of early days there was a rawness which a lot of people don't possess, and then when you did hit the Passion and Warfare thing and everything became, you know, much more refined, do you ever look back at that and say, you know what?
Well, that's what I'm doing now by going back and listening to that music. It's like there's, and I would say everybody possesses some kind of visceral rawness at that age, 17 to 24, before they really start getting conditioned by the world. Yeah. When they're feeling their independence and they're feeling their own creative voice, and they're like, the hell with everything else. You can see it if you take any artist. Yeah. That's still creating now. If you look back at their early years, you could see the boldness, the courage. Yeah. In their attitude.
Was that produced out of you, or did you produce it out of yourself by saying?
It was unconscious. It just happened because that's who I was. You don't think I'm being really bold right now, and because you're not 55. But to look back on it and go, right on, Vi. You know?
But my point is, you know, I like a lot of guitar players make music. If there's nobody around and I like it and I think it sounds good, I go, well, even if it's a bit rough around the edges and it's got a spirit to it. But you do find as you go on, people going, oh no, you can't do that.
Well, that's the conditioning that starts setting in, and if you buy into that, you're going to be cutting at the root of your own true creative potential. Which is the thing that's really fulfilling.
And what was it? Did you say the name of the record again? Because I'm just getting this.
Modern Primitive.
Modern Primitive. When's that going to be available? June. So we're pretty much getting an exclusive here.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah.
Are you going to? I think your birthday's in June.
Yeah.
Are you going to release
June 6. It comes out at the end of June.
Because you got 666 and I got 666. You probably don't remember that conversation we had.
Wait a minute, I do. What year were you?
662.
You were born in 62?
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
So you don't remember the things I said to you?
Yes, I do remember now. Okay.
You got 3 6s, I got 3 6s, you're a Gemini, I'm a Gemini, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I said, how comes you got loads of hair and loads of money and loads of talent, and I got no hair, no money and no talent? Well, you don't remember that?
I do know.
Anyway, so what I want to know is, these days, you could go out on a tour, like this tour, and you're instantly making money. Let's just tell it how it is. You're instantly making money. To go and make one of these records, you've got to commit a lot of time. You're not getting paid while you do it, and you don't even know, how much revenue it's going to generate. Does that affect your decision in terms of touring and recording?
Well, you have to obviously examine the logistics and the practicality of something. And sure, I like making money. But what I've noticed is your worldly success is a consequence of the intensity of your passion. So when you throw yourself into a creative idea that is exciting to you and enthusiastic, and that's, and I don't know, I can't say this is the case for everybody. It just seems to be the case for all the extraordinarily wealthy people I know. Right. And on my level, I'm, of being relatively, being comfortable. Yeah. This is when I look back at my career. Any money that ever came in was just a complete result of the intensity of the passion for an idea. All of the situations I've been in where I've lost money was because I was trying to find a quick way to make
a quick fix. Yeah.
My instincts tell me that we came here and to be creative. We're expanding the universe. The universe is expanding through us. It's so simple, obvious. We think that the universe is expanding out there, but we are the universe because we came from it. Yeah. People think that we're separate. They think they're separate. They think there's me and then there's the universe. But when you just look at it very simply, we came from it, and what do we do in life? We create. Everything you do is creative. Everything. Right. The relationships you have. So it's just so obvious that the way one of the infinite ways that the universe is expanding is through you by every action you do. So why do we get excited to make a music? Why did I get excited to do this tour? This tour, the idea came. I saw it in my head. I said, I'm doing it. And why did that happen? Because it's a creative impulse.
You had a feeling, a
I
thought.
had a creative impulse, and here we are.
Yeah.
And you're expanding the universe.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing it, and the universe doesn't care if it looks like it's a big expansion or a little one.
So you believe there's one consciousness experiencing itself through every individual?
That's the thing that makes the most sense to me, and that's what I'm not an authority on any of this stuff, but that seems very, very obvious to me.
Yeah.
Because consciousness is consciousness. Consciousness has no name. It has no form. It has no likes or dislikes. It's awareness itself.
Yeah.
And your awareness is the same as mine.
Yeah.
And even scientists are starting to believe that the entire universe is pure consciousness, and the human brain is a lens that consciousness focuses through into what looks like the physical world. But the physical world that you see is just happening back here in the back of your head. We think we don't even know what's out here.
Right.
In some phenomenal way, light, or what we call light, is reflecting into these things we call eyes, and creating a picture in the back of the head, in the mind, in the brain someplace. And, so really everything, you're creating your own reality.
Yeah.
And it's all in your own perspective.